My name is Josh Moree. I'm out of Atlanta, Georgia, and thank you very much for being a part of this class. This is my son, Logan Moree. I'm hoping that if you're here, it's because you want to see something a little different in your bunkai, in your kata applications. I get often I get asked when I go out and I do seminars, people are like, are you a karate guy or jiu-jitsu guy? The answer is yes. I do both. I do karate styles, jiu-jitsu styles, but standing and ground. And I said this in my last class. My last class I did ground jiu-jitsu. And I encourage people, try not to compartmentalize your training methods, right? So I don't think you should have like my karate over here, my jiu-jitsu over there, my weapons over there, my ground jiu-jitsu over here. Learn to put it all together. Sensei, as I understand it, Cuong Nhu is a mixture of different styles, right? And we need to keep that openness. And I think even Master Quinn earlier this morning was talking about openness in your thought process, not just towards each other, but certainly in how you train as well. So I'm going to show you some things today. It's going to be maybe a new take on some bunkai, on some movements that you guys already do. If you like it, awesome. Take it, steal it, make it yours, make it better. If you don't like it, it won't hurt my feelings, okay? So on that note, we are going to first talk about some basic principles of kata in one of my arts, which is Ryuku Kempo. We have principles that we abide by. And one of them, I know this is going to be controversial to a lot of people, but we say no blocks, okay? There are no blocks in what we do. Now, just hang with me for a second. Yes, we do all of these type movements, right? But we don't look at them as blocks, okay? Kind of jokingly, we say if we're blocking, we're losing, right? All of these are counterattacks or strikes, and you'll see more what I'm talking about when we get into the bunkai, okay? Now, also remember, these are principles, it's not a rule book, okay? So think of these as guidelines. So the first one is no blocks, everything is attacking. Secondly is visualization, which is super important for today, right? We're in a pandemic, we can't go to the dojo like we want to, but it will not stop us for training. We're in my garage right now, built myself out a mat space, and an area where I can train. But you don't need mat space. You don't need a dojo. Does it help? Yes. But you can still continue to train, okay? And a lot of it requires imagination, it requires visualization. That's what we're going to be working on as well today. So no blocks rule, visualization. Also, we're going to talk about direction, okay? So I want you to think of like one of your basic katas. You're here and you turn directions to do your technique, okay? In Ryuku Kempo, one of our principles is that when I'm turning direction in a kata, it's not because, oh, somebody's over there and I'm going to defend myself. Oh, and somebody's over there, I'm going to defend myself. As you'll see, it's the direction I'm taking the person in my application. Confused yet? Great, hang on, you'll see what I mean in a few minutes. So no blocks, visualization, direction, and multiple interpretation, okay? So how many different applications of like, I'll say high counter, you may say high block, but of this do you know? There's numerous. Quite honestly, if you look at like a kata, say something like the pinyons, okay, which trace the roots back to Kusanku. The original person who made that kata, we have no idea what their application was, right? That person died a long time ago and all their students. So these days we sort of reverse engineer what we think it could be and we look at the body movements, which is crucially important, which we're going to get to, okay? When you look at body movements, does this make sense for something I'd really do in the real, okay? And the last principle of kata interpretation before we get to it is the use of pressure points, okay? Now, some of my teachers will say, use pressure points all the time. I would say, use pressure points where it's advantageous. Sensei Perry did an excellent class earlier today on the use of pressure points. If you didn't see it, I highly suggest you check it out. If you know Sensei Ming and Sensei Chris, they've trained with me, they're over in Little Rock. If you get a chance to train with them, everything I'm about to show you, they know as well. So go train it with them. But, rewind. On pressure points. Pressure points are great, but you have to have good technique first before your pressure points work. If Logan and I are fighting, I might know about stomach 5, but I can't just, go up and hit it, right? I have to know how to kick, punch, move, grapple before I hit that point. So, 5 principles of kata interpretation in Ryuku Kempo. No blocks. I know that's kind of hard for some of you here. Just stay with me. Visualization. Visualize what you're doing at all times so the movement's not just empty movement because it has purpose. Direction. Every time you turn a direction in a kata, it's because you're taking your opponent that way. Multiple interpretations. One movement can have multiple meanings. And finally, utilization of Kyusho Jitsu, which is pressure points. It's kind of like the icing on the cake. It helps it work a little bit. And I'll be sprinkling some Kyusho as we go. Sound good? Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to take some common movements that you guys have done in your kata, and I'm going to give you a little different variation on how to look at these. But a little bit more understanding of kata is needed in how you view it. If you look at a kata in its entirety, it's not necessarily important that you have to think about tying those pieces together. If you, say like you spar, or you get in a real fight, you don't say, aha, I'm going to run Pinan 2 on you. Ah, I'm going to run Nahanchi on you, okay? No, because that's not reality. That's not how it works. But you can take pieces of these kata and learn how to put them together, okay? Before we get to the physical movements, some of you may know Oyata, say Oyata. There's something he called like the shoebox experiment. What he did was he would take pictures of his kata at every move, and various kata. So he had a shoebox full of hundreds of Polaroids. He'd shake up the box, pull out 2 pictures and look at them and say, look, how can I put these together? So one picture may be something like this, and then you may have another picture like this. And he's like, okay, how do these fit together? And I've done this with other people, and it is mind-blowing what you can put together by just taking 2 random pieces of whatever kata, put them together, and see what comes out of it. It's amazing, but it requires a bit of imagination and understanding of body mechanics, okay? So on that note, let's start with one of the, I would have to say probably the one most understood kata movements. Come on up here, sir. One of the most understood kata movements, okay? So every movement will have a different name and different system. So I'm just going to call this one what I normally heard it by, which is monkey grab peaches, okay? So if we start in our ready stance, we're going to step forward, and we're going to go 1, 2, okay? I'm sure everybody at some point has heard that, all right? So do that with me a couple times. Let's start in our ready stance. All right, when I say move, you're just going to step forward, grab, pull, and then bring it back. Now, something's really important here, and it'll make more sense in a moment. Notice here that my hips are forward, but as I pull, I turn my hips. You're going to see why in a minute. We're not just doing it because it looks pretty, because there's a purpose, all right? So I'm going to say move. Let's do that a few times. Move. Back. Move. Back. Move. Back. Move. Back. All right. Now, a common explanation for this is attackers in front of me. I grab him down below, I rip off his peaches, and I yell, shake it in the air, okay? We don't live in a world where people wear loincloths. And while it's kind of funny to talk about, you know, you have to ask yourself sometimes, like, is that realistic? Am I really going to do that? Am I really going to reach through somebody's pants, grab it, and rip it off? Probably not. But look at the movements that we're doing. One of our other principles we go by is something called two-way action. When I come in, both hands are pulling, pushing at the same time. Simultaneously, I'm turning my hip as I go out. Now, I don't want to just make it static and show you one explanation of this. I want to put it kind of like in a flow. I always love to put stuff in a flow movement. So we're going to start more in a fight stance, okay? Because fights don't start right here like, I'm going to do monkey grabs peaches technique on you. Ha-ha! No, you start because somebody's punching you, somebody's attacking you. So you have to be able to move and punch and do your technique. So what this is going to look like, we'll start in our fight stance. We're going to parry because somebody just gave you a punch. And then we're going to punch low. Oh, this is starting to look familiar. Then I'm going to grab and pull. And because we love elbows, we're going to come across for an elbow. So we're going to work that series a few times, and then we're going to show you 8 possible bunkai that you can use for it, okay? So from here, step forward, parry, punch, grab, pull, elbow, all right? Again, parry, punch, grab, pull, elbow. Now another thing you'll notice, in a lot of kata, you see this. There's usually like a grabbing as you do the technique. Sometimes you'll see this, and we'll talk about that, but I would have to say majority of kata, at least in ours, there's always a hand bringing it to the elbow, which we'll discuss in a moment. So let's do this a few more times. Step forward and parry, punch, grab, monkey pulls peaches, and elbow. Good. All right, let's do that one more time. Parry, punch down low, monkey grabs peaches, pull, and elbow. All right, now, how is this grappling bunkai? How do you even use this? Well, the first two are kind of obvious, just a parry and a punch, okay? So Logan's going to help me out with this. Actually, we'll start on this side. So the first one's pretty easy, and we're going to do this in form. He punches, I parry, and I hit low, okay? And he's doing what he should be doing, by checking this hand. And I'm going to talk about this more later. In my opinion, when you train, he should be training his response as well. Give me a punch. So if I go, he wants to put his hand up. Why? Because we don't like to get hit in the face, which offers up other things, but we'll talk about that in a few. So he punches. I go 1, 2. From here, I'm going to grab under the arm, and I'm going to do a little slight switch of the hand. Uh-oh, doesn't this start to look familiar? Here. Step this way. Now, obviously, I'm a lot bigger than him, okay? Give me some resistance. All right, this kid's getting bigger. All right, this is me just pulling with my strength. Now, I could pull a lot harder and really force it. But do you remember when we did the technique, how we turned our hips? Your hips are powerful, right? Think about how you punch, how you should properly punch. You use your hips, right? Punch again. 1, 2. So when I grab this, I turn my hips as I pull. Now, you good?
Yes.
Now, we have different options here, right? I can hit, snap. I'm not really going to snap the arm, but you're probably going to get a good hyperextension. Do you want to injure the person, or do you want to control the person? That's part of your options, okay? In this case, we're going to control. So he punches. 1, 2, grab. I'm going to pull. Wasn't there an elbow here? Boom. And then there's my elbow. Now we've given you a little bit different thought process on rather than just monkey grabs peaches. Now we're making a person move, right? Now you're doing something that you might actually do in a fight, right? So we'll do it so he punches. 1, 2, pull. I can grab an elbow from there, and I'll give you one more option. As I pull, it also sets me very nicely. It sets me up very nicely for an ippon seonage because it sets him back, and I'm where I need to be for my next technique. So now we've given you something to visualize as you do this technique. Okay? So starting from either a ready stance or your hands up, you take your pick. Somebody's going to give you that right punch. We're going to parry down because getting hit in the face is no good. And I'm going to punch low. My hand is low, so I'm going to grab that arm and I'm going to pull. Notice monkey grab peaches. And if you have a partner, I encourage you to play with it. Don't just pull like this. Pull and turn your hips because now you're utilizing the strength of your body to make that work. And a fast pull will usually cause like a hyperextension. Or I just get them moving, the head is right here, boom, and we come right back into a striking technique. And then whatever you want to do from there, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a minute, and I want you to visualize that. Parry, hit, pull, elbow, and step back. Parry, hit, pull, elbow, step back. Parry that arm, punch low, grab the arm, pull, elbow. I'll do it with my partner a few times so you can watch as well. So just keep on repping it. Watch me if you have questions. We're going to move on in a minute. Parry, punch low, grab, hit. Parry, punch low, pull, grab, hit. Parry, punch low, pull, grab, hit. All right, let's see how you guys are doing over there. While everybody's repping this, does anyone have any questions about this particular technique? If you do, just unmute and ask.
What technique do you mean by parry?
I'm sorry, say again, please?
What technique do you mean by parry?
Parry, I just mean parry out of the way. Like, looking. So, the number one thing you can do if somebody's punching at your face is just to parry. Move it out of the way, right? In kata, you may see it a little bit different way, and we're going to actually discuss that here shortly. But think about, I don't know if you're doing any sparring, but those of you who do sparring, it's a parrying motion, right? You parry to get punches out of the way. Just give me a 1, 2. 1, 2. Again. 1, 2. Just basic. Parried out of the way, and then punch. Good question. Oh, Sensei Ming, you're with us. Hey.
Can you show the entry to the throw after your elbow strike?
Entry to the throw?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was either elbow strike or throw, but I guess you could really do both. But I'll be happy to show that again. Logan? So if you want to turn this into a throw, 1, 2, 3. Notice that when I pull him, it sets him that way. And then I take my hand that was pulling on the elbow, I slide underneath, and I come in. Now, for those of you that do a little bit more judo work with your feet, 1, 2, pull, watch my feet as I come in. That's the motion. All right, mate. So, now we're doing it with the kids class. Mate, yame, whatever it is that you guys say. So there's one for you. So next time you're thinking about monkey pulls peaches, think about grab that arm, pull that arm. And you could take it to a throw, you could take it to an elbow, or you can take it to a hyperextension, whatever suits your needs at that moment, okay? Next what we're going to do, now, again, I'm going to call this by a particular name as I know it as. You may have a different name for it. Tomatoes, tomatoes. Doesn't matter. Call it whatever you want. Okay? So we're going to start in a ready stance, and we're going to call this one split hands. Okay? I'm actually stepping to a cat stance at an angle, and it'll make more sense in a moment, as my right hand comes up by my face, my left hand shoots down. Isn't it amazing how many martial art techniques start with this kind of motion? Interesting. So as I step to my cat stance, one hand comes up. As I turn, my other hand shoots down. Okay? Split hands. Now, you may see different variations of this. Okay? Sometimes the hand motion changes. But for our purposes now, step and pull. Pull. Alright? Now, do this with me a couple times. Ready? Move! 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 Good. Move! Move! Alright. So now, we're going to put some punches and strikes around it. Again, remember, if I'm going to get into an altercation or even sparring, I don't wait for the person to punch at me. Aha! And then I do that one movement, right? There's usually something else around it. I'm covering. I'm trying to break somebody's grip before I get to the application. So in this particular one, we're going to start with, again, with the parry, okay? Start with a parry, because somebody's punching at your face. It's an easy attack to work off of. We're going to parry. Now, if you're feeling pretty good about this next part, what we're going to do is a parry and elbow. If this starts to become too much, I want you to take the elbow out of it, but just follow me. So parry, elbow. Parry, elbow. In Filipino martial arts, it's something called gunting, or attack the attack or defend the snake, okay? If somebody's punching, Remy Prisos would say, if somebody's punching at you, punish them. Or no, I'd actually say, if somebody touches you, punish them. If somebody doesn't touch you, punish them. And a gunting, or an elbow to the fist, is a great way to deliver that punishment. To sort of jump ahead, sure. If he punches at my face, whoa, that's what I'm going for. I don't know if you've ever been hit like this, but it's no fun, okay? Now, obviously, I'm not trying to chase that fist out of the air. I can't, I'm probably not that good where I can just, right? Punch. But the second I slow it down with my hand, I know exactly where my hand is, and then I go for my strike. And as always, we're using our hips to apply the technique, okay? So visualize that. We're going to step forward, parry, elbow strike, okay? Again, parry, elbow strike. Again, parry, elbow strike. Now from here, we're going to come underneath and grab, okay? It's going to be very similar to this, but what we're going to do is an arm drag, okay? I want you to think about pulling back into, I don't know, chamber position as you do it. If you really want to get kata-like, you can think about pulling back to here at the same time, okay? An arm drag, give me a push please. At very base level looks like that. He parries my hand, he grabs underneath, and he gives me a pull as he steps behind me. And then he's behind me, okay? So, parry, arm destruction, grab underneath the arm, pull. And you see we've set ourselves forward, okay? Hang with me and we're going to see what this actually means when you put it together, all right? Parry, arm destruction, grab underneath, pull. Now, from here, we step to that cat stance, boom, and there's your motion. It's really important that you put the twist in your hands, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. It's kind of a funny thing. You learn the kata, you're confused about the kata for a long time, you might even run it a few hundred times, and then somebody says, oh yeah, this is what you're doing. Oh, it makes sense. But if you're not practicing the kata properly, you won't have those little details, like turning the hand, like pushing the hips out. Things to keep in mind, okay? So let's do this whole thing and we'll see what it looks like with a person, okay? So we're going to step and parry, arm destruction, boom, come underneath the arm and grab, pull, and then from here my back leg's going to step up as I step to my cat stance. I'll scoot a little further back so you can see what it looks like. From here, step, parry, arm destruction, grab, pull, step to my cat stance, and I come underneath, okay? Do one more time with me. Parry, arm destruction. If this arm destruction is too much, then just parry and punch. That's absolutely fine as well. Pull. And then turn. So, it's actually on video out there of one of my teachers doing this to me at a seminar before I even knew what it was. And it works so fast, I was there on the ground like, what just happened? I've got to look that up again. It's hilarious. So, with my training partner, All right, he's going to give me a punch. Boom, I'm going to hit. From here, I'm going to add a little extra in, pop, as I come underneath. Don't waste a good opportunity to hit. I can hit here and come underneath and grab, and that's certainly fine. Or I can hit, check it, boom, hit, and then come underneath. And my partner's doing what he should be doing by checking the hand. I like to always build good habits. Just stand there with your hand up. If he just lets me, relax, relax. He's always afraid I'm going to hurt him. No, while the camera's on. If I do this and he doesn't practice what he should do, what's he practicing? He's practicing standing there, right? So he should practice doing a check. Good. Now I come underneath and I pull. Now, from here, my hand comes up to his head. My other hand comes to his back. From here, I'm going to make a twisting action with my hand as I push the hips. And then we go down, all right? Now, you're just doing that because you're like a foot taller than him. You're just doing that because you're like 6 inches taller than him. Well, here's the very interesting thing how this works. Logan, I'm going to let him do it to me. So pick a front stance facing that way. So, I'm going to put my hand on his head. Logan, give me resistance. Oh, this kid's got a hard head. All right? So 2 things are going to make this work. For one, I'm going to push the hips out. Okay? So I'll do it real slow. Go ahead and resist. The second you start pushing someone's hips out, balance is gone. It's kind of like, give me a punch. If I had to get behind a choke, I push the hips out before I come into a choke. If Logan goes, just try to choke me. If he tries to choke me from here, nothing's going to happen. Now, grab, push my hips. Look, there we go. Once he's got my balance out, then it's easier, sir. So we look at this motion, right? Now, front stance facing that way. Another portion of it is the hand. The body can resist one direction at a time. So look straight forward, resist. If I just do this, come on, resist. Good. But, that way, resist. Okay. When you start confusing the body, a simple twist to the head really throws the body off, you could say. Okay. It's not magic, it's just how the body works. Hold your fist straight out. If you do this to anybody, resist. If he's got good resistance here. But if I just move it to the side, you lose it. You can do that with absolutely anyone. And that's the same principle here. I'm turning the head as I drop it back. Because he may resist that way, but once you turn the head and drop, it's a whole lot harder to resist. Simultaneously, you're pushing the hips out at the same time. Anytime you get behind anyone, push the hips out, especially if they're bigger than you. You saw the example, if he tries to jump up and choke me, nothing's going to happen. But if he kicks my hips out, then he can. So we'll even show this one. So Logan. So stand here, push on my head. Stand here, push on my head. All right. So I can resist this pretty good. And now I want you to turn your head as you press my back. Oh, there you go. Good. And I'm really resisting there. But when you do it together, that snap makes it really hard to stay standing up. Okay? So now let's do this whole thing again. Hopefully here now you have a whole new explanation of any sort of split hand motion that looks like that. And the cat stance turn is, boom, I'm pivoting because I'm getting behind the person, boom, and I'm turning, okay? So now let's look at this all together. From here, I'm going to parry, arm destruct, grab, pull, and then from there, there's my split hand motion. Work it on your own a couple times. I'll work it nice and slow and then work with my partner. Visualize, visualize, visualize. That's kind of one of the advantageous things about being a karate guy in a state of quarantine, because you can still run your kata, and if you just visualize what you're doing, you are practicing the entire time. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to unmute and ask a question right now.
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm not really sure about how to coordinate the legs when you are turning to do this move.
Okay, great question. So think about how we started. We started in this front stance, and then we turn. Okay, sir. So as I do my arm drag, think of it. Think of it very basic. I'm in a front stance, and then I turn, and then I'm turning towards him as I push with my hip to throw his hips out. Does that help? If you just look at the feet, think of it like front stance, cat stance.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good. I'll do it a couple more times with my uke. and you guys can watch, and we'll rep this a few more times. Visualization. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to try? Arm straight. We won't go all the way down now. So don't grab this. Grab here. Nice, good. And make sure you turn your hips into it, right? All right, mate. So I'm going to go through a couple of these. Of course, this is being recorded so you can watch them later. And I'm serious when I say take these things, steal them, make them yours, right? These are things that I've learned from some of my teachers, from my own self-discovery and exploration. But the idea is that every generation of martial arts should build on top of the next, right? Everything that I teach any of my students, they should make better, right? Ming better be showing me some amazing applications. She has shown me some amazing applications, right? And it's constantly building and making it better and better and better, okay? So, I would love, you know, if you're on Facebook, shoot me a message, say, hey, Shihan, I saw this thing. You think this will work? Yes! If it'll work, it'll work. But explore, okay? Martial art, it's your art, okay? Let's look at what we've done so far. So the first one was monkey grab peaches. All right. The second one was split hands. The entries to this are various, okay? We're just kind of making it easy for right now. That first entry was parry, punch low, grab, pull, and elbows are just fun, okay? The second entry was parry, elbow, grab, pull, turn, okay? And also remember what I said earlier. When you turn direction in kata, it's not necessarily because my opponent's attacking me from over there. It's because that's what my application has me doing, sir. When I turn and do that, stand here for a moment, part of that is if I don't turn my hips into it, resist, 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 resist. I can push, but I mean, I'm putting a lot of muscle into that. But when I use my hip to turn, then it's a whole lot easier. Okay? All right, I'm going to give you guys a 30-second water break and just shake your brain out for a second, okay? If you have any questions, please ask.
This is my one.
What's that?
This is my one, right?
Sure.
For the last part of that combination?
Yes.
So for the last part of the combination, you should be behind them?
Yeah, because you do the arm drag, and arm drag by itself puts you behind a person. Logan? So
Okay,
if he does... Sorry, go ahead.
Can you look at me for a second and tell me what I'm doing?
Sure, let me see. Ah, okay, so look right here. So if he's coming at you with a right hand punch, I should be parrying on the same side. You're going to the inside, not what we're working right now, right? So I'm going to parry, and we're going to make it super easy. Grab underneath. So that's how you can kind of start working an arm grab. 1, 2, go to you. 1, 2, come to me. 1, 2, go to you. 1, 2, right? So 1, 2, and then pull. So for one, slow it down, slow it down. Use your left hand to parry. Use your left hand to parry. Yeah! Now grab underneath the arm. Mostly. Yes. Ah, there you go. And then you're behind him.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. So let's keep moving on here. So, we got another question. Go ahead.
Where do we find the video for this?
I do not know where Sensei Tanner is going to be putting them, but I know he asked us all to record, so they're going to be compiled somewhere.
Okay.
Or see Sensei Ming. She knows all of these.
Okay.
I'm sorry, somebody asked a question. It was hard to hear there.
He's going to put them on the same website as the schedule.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, so let's keep exploring here. We have monkey grab peaches. We have split hands. Oh, this is a fun one. I'm sure in Chinese terminology, this has some really cool name like dragon punching fist or something. I don't know. But we're going to start with one hand up, one hand in chamber, and we're just going to step out to the side and punch. Okay? Now in our Ruku Kempo katas, we see something similar where we pivot and punch like this. We're pivoting one way while we're punching the other. Now, a very sort of karate do explanation you might hear, sir, can you come here, is he's going to punch at my face, and I step off to the side and hit. Would that work? Maybe, okay? But then you also have to ask yourself, well, why do I even have a chamber position there? Why am I pulling my hand back to chamber and punching over there? It seems to sort of lose effectiveness or lose like realisticness at that point, right? So we're going to look at principles of using the hips again. So when you're using your hips to pivot, generally speaking, think about that's where your power is going. You've heard me say hips 100 times today. So much of your power is in your wrists and your hips. Sir? You think about what I did to his head when I turned the head and pulled, okay? Well, that same power applies in a lot of our locks, okay? It's in the power of the wrist. And then your hip helps set that off, okay? So if any sort of technique, there we go, a wrist turn throw. My wrist starts to set it off, and it's my hips pivoting that really pushes through, okay? Things to keep in mind. So on this particular motion, we're going to start, one hand out front, and we're just going to step off to the side and punch. My hips are facing this direction, my punch is facing this way. Excellent, yeah. Some of you guys look mean with this, all right? Let's do it a couple times. Move, back, move, back, move, and back, move, and back. Good. I can see some power in your techniques. That's awesome to see. Now we're going to do power with meaning, okay? The application that we're going to do with this, again, because we don't just start a fight and do that, it's usually from an attack, we're just going to do that same straight right hand punch somebody was given. All of these started with somebody punching in with a right hand, I'm stepping off with my right hand, okay? Because that's like super basic. I'm right here, he punches at me. Dude, stop that, okay? So we're going to parry. Now instead of punching down or elbowing, we're going to back fist, okay? Everybody's got this one down, so let's do that a few times. Step parry and back fist, okay? Move, step parry, back fist. Move, step parry, back fist. One more time. Move, step parry, back fist. Now, do you remember what I told you how this is my opinion, that uke should work appropriate responses? Logan? Now, I might be good enough, punch, pull, that I can make that hit work the first time. This guy's a blue belt. He's done a little bit of fighting, a lot of it right here actually. He's not going to let me just hit him. Punch. He doesn't want to get hit, so he's going to put his hand up. I love it when people stop my techniques and grab me. That means it just gave me a whole new variety of techniques to play with. You have to put your mind in, if I put something out and he stops it, what did he stop? He stopped my strike, but now I still have locks, throws, pass-offs, tons of other things that I can work because he decided he wanted to stop my technique. Bad Logan. Okay, so follow me here. We're going to parry, back fist. The person's decided to stop that. We're going to pass the hand off and step and punch. All right, just do the motion with me and you'll see what this looks like. So we're going to parry, back fist. They stopped your hand. Pass the hand off, step and punch. One more time and I'll show you what the application looks like, okay? From here, parry, back fist, pass the hand off, step and punch. An application for this, sir. He's going to give me a punch. I parry and back fist. He's a good blue belt. He doesn't want to get hit in the face. So from here, I pass that arm off. Passing off is not easy. Everybody hold your hand up and do that. Hold your hand up, do that. It's not magic. If he stops this, I just do that. Boom, okay? Punch. 1, 2, pass off. See where I am? Let's turn this back over. From here, boom. All right? It's a body bump across armbar, okay? Your body is very strong, okay? If I just give him a little bump with my shoulder, and of course I'm moving my hips into it, you see how much it moves him forward. Well, why is the arm across? Why am I doing this? Well, twofold. For one, I can do this and it gets him moving, okay? But if I have this down across his hip, you see how it stops him from moving forward? So if I don't put it down, if I just keep my hand down here, which isn't bad, he takes a step that way. If I block off his hip and I bump, oh, that's way worse, isn't it? Okay, now he's got nowhere to go. Boom! And we talk about our chamber hand. This hand is pulling as I do it. Crossbody armbar, okay? Now, additionally, I want my hand here to check his hip, but sometimes I see people do a technique like this, so hold on. If I just say tap when you feel it, okay? Solid technique, right? Until he decides to do what? All he has to do is push on my hand, right? you'll see this technique a lot, and maybe if you like pop it real quick, okay. But if I'm really trying to power through it, all he has to do is put his hand on my hand, and now I can't go any higher, okay? So that's why, pop, we do this. And what did we say about elbows earlier? We love elbows. So from here, pull, elbow. Wow, it's like you've done this in kata somewhere, okay? Anything that looks familiar like that. So I'll show you the application again. I'm going to practice the movements for a bit. So he punches, parry, back fist. I pass this off. I hit across, and I'll pull the chamber position as I grab an elbow. I'll show you a little different angle here, all right? He punches, parry, back fist, pass off, hit, pull, elbow. I'm going to show you one little thing in there for those of you who are getting it, because there's tons of little stuff that we can plug in there, but I don't want to give you too much. So parry, back fist. Watch my left hand. Did you see those like 5 extra strikes that were in there? Busy work, busy work. I'm giving him something to think about while I'm locking him, okay? One more time, I'll do it slow. Parry, back fist. Pass off, hit, pull, elbow. Now let's do it dry. Thank you, sir. I gotta get him ice cream after this. Parry, back fist. Pass that hand off. Step and punch. For extra fun, pull the chamber as you elbow. Even this motion with your hips is crucially important. Okay, can you come here, please? So just put his body in the place of it. I use this to pull him back. See what that does to his head? And when I do it quicker, I'm pulling him right into my elbow. I pull and I hit. So when you guys are doing katas and you're doing all these cool things with your hips, think that's you either pulling or pushing into whatever your technique needs to be. Okay, sir. So let's work that whole thing. Parry, back fist, pass the hand off, step and punch, grab, elbow. Great. All right, let's do it again. All right, parry, back fist, pass off the arm, step and punch, pull, elbow. Good. On your own. I want you guys to work that a couple times. I'm going to work it with my uke here so you guys can see the application, okay? Visualize, visualize, visualize. And if you have a training partner, try it with your training partner. Try it. Carry back this. Pass the hand off. Good. Now, sit it. Now, pull with this hand. And now, grab it. Through. You got it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so mean. Yeah. If anybody has any questions about this, please feel free to unmute. And hopefully all this is looking familiar to what you guys are already doing in your kata. You guys have elbows in your kata. You have chamber hands in your kata. We're just giving you possibly a little bit different take on possible bunkai. And remember, one of the principles of bunkai is multiple interpretation. This could have so many different meanings, right? As long as it works for what you're aiming for, okay? And what I would say, does it work, period? Is this something that you could actually use in a fight? Or I should say, more appropriately, in self-defense. All right, so where are we at right now? All right, so now let's go back and recap. I'm going to sound like a broken record because I like to go back and look at things over and over and over. So we have monkey pulls peaches, step, pull, and follow up with an elbow. Okay. We have split hands, stepping off to the side. Okay, that was your takedown. We have a pivoting punch where I'm going to step out and punch off to the side. Okay. So next one, this is very prevalent in a lot of martial arts. I often refer to it as nahanchi. You might have heard of the kata nahanchi or teki. It's prevalent in a lot of Okinawan martial arts. But you see it in other arts as well, okay? Sometimes called like a double counter or a double low mid counter. What do you call them, generally? Sometimes it just say this movement. There's so many movements in martial arts. Yeah, this movement, whatever that is, okay? But in this case, it's this movement, okay? Now, Karate Do may tell you Okay, I've got somebody kicking over here and somebody's punching over here. So I block his kick and I block his punch. And then they switch it. So he kicks and he punches, and then I block that as well. I've done a lot of tournaments, I've done a lot of sparring, and I've been in real fights, and at no point in my life have I ever had someone kick over here, punch over here, and then switch it on me. Never happened. And the likeliness of that happening is probably pretty slim. Now that's okay for kind of like maybe, and again, this is all just my opinion. And I think that's kind of okay for like a basic explanation just to get you to put your hands in the right spot, right? But if your goal in martial arts, like mine is to talk about reality of techniques and moving, like can I use this, what's the proper body mechanics to using this, then we're going to tweak it just a bit, okay? It's the same motions, just a completely different explanation, okay? Sir, up here. So, when you think about like a horse stance, okay? So in Ruku Kempo, there's a horse stance as a horse stance as a horse stance. I might do it here, I might do it here, I might do it here. It's a horse stance no matter which way you look at it. My son corrected me and said, like, Dad, that's a diagonal stance. Fine, a diagonal stance, okay? So we're going to step out to sort of like a diagonal stance, sir?
Yes.
All right, got to be corrected here. Diagonal horse stance and hit, hit. Okay, so let's just do that motion. I can see some of you guys are really getting into that one, okay? So let's just do that motion a few times. Move! Good. Move! And what we're going to do for now, the forward leg is going to be the low counter, okay? Move! Good. Move! Now, there's one thing that in Ruku Kempo we do a little differently when we're in our horse stances. Raise your hand if anybody has seen or works Nahanchi or Teki. Ah, of course you have, Ming. So if you look at, say, Nahanchi by itself, a very sort of Karate-Do way of looking at it is that hips stay forward the entire time as you work the kata. And even when you get to the section to where you're doing this, your hips stay forward. However, in Ruku Kempo, generally when we're practicing this, there's a whole lot more motion with our hips. We're stepping and we're pivoting as we do it. Go back to everything we've done so far. What has helped increase the power of your technique? Your hips. If you look at that split hands motion, if you do it just standing here, it might work with enough arm strength, but when you turn your hips into it, much more powerful. Think about the punching off this side we did. If you just sort of did this, would it work? Kinda, but we push our hips into it to really make that body bump work. So it's the same thing with this one. So even if you don't practice it like this, I'm going to encourage you to try it for now, for this class, to see how it works for you. So we're going to step out that diagonal stance, okay? As I come low, think about this. Think about the hand that's up, boom, is the way I'm turning. Boom. All right? Try it again. Move. Good. Move. One more time. Move. Now, for the sake of this drill, we're actually going to kind of keep going with it. In the Hanchi, it does this motion, pops up, comes to a cross stance, and keeps moving. So we get to talk about that cross stance a little bit, okay? So, look. So the application, you can actually jump straight into Nahanchi from this. The parry is in the application. So I'm going to do it really slow and in form just so you see it. So he's going to give me a punch. Parry, hit low. Now, very obviously, I'm not grabbing right here because I'm not hanging out like this. And then from here, I roll it over again, okay? So we have 1, 2. Really slow in form, punch. 1, 2. Here's a beautiful thing. I'm going to give, well, first let me give Master Dusty Seal props on this because so much about Nahanchi I learned from him. I was actually chatting with him earlier today. He does some great stuff where he does a lot of Nahanchi techniques on the ground. It's super cool stuff. But he's the one who taught me so much about pivoting. And I got a little nugget of information from a great martial artist named Troy Price, where he was talking about he doesn't always even grab when he's here. He just hits. And then he might grab and go to a different technique, punch. But he might just hook. So if you see this motion, I don't have to grab. I just have to hook as I do my technique. So when that punch comes in, that's what I'm doing. Punch. That. While at the same time hitting him. So again, super slow. Hit, hit. If you want to grab, grab. If you don't, don't. A little bit faster. This hand punch is coming over the top. Now we look at it all together. Here. Now, didn't I say there's a cross stance in that? So when you look at, and we're going to rep this in a few minutes, but when you look at cross stances, generally I use a cross stance as like a transitional stance. If looking at our fighting, aha, this is a bad place to be. I really don't have good balance from here. However, look at something that we did earlier. Watch my feet. I pulled him back. Oh, there's a cross stance. Transitional stances to other techniques. Or, from here, there's my cross stance as I hit. Okay? If I'm in tight, boom, I come over the top. There's my cross stance. Grappling Bunkai. Okay? So now, do this with me. Step out. Think about your parrying and making connection to that arm as you hit low. And then you're changing it over to an arm bar. If you feel good with that, we're going to check that arm down, stomp on the leg, boom, and give a hit. Okay? Visualization, visualization. Step through, parry, check that arm, hit low, switch it, go to the arm bar, check down, stomp on that leg, boom, and hit. I'm going to give you guys a minute to play with this. Visualize, visualize, visualize. I'll do it with my uke here so you can see what it looks like. Okay? But keep moving, keep visualizing. Got it? Yeah. Hello, hello. Boom. Now switch hands. Good. Check this out. Cross stance. Hit. There you go. You got it. Good. So this is parry and connect. Yeah. Nice. Now another thing I want you guys to be mindful of is be slow to be fast. We talk about that in stick work, okay? Think about anything you're trying to learn. Martial arts, an instrument, a weapon. You don't just, a great example here. On no time when you got two tambos in your hand, oh yeah, this is easy, I got this. Did you just start doing that off the bat? It was, if you're doing something like double Sunwal, it was probably 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? For anybody here, anyone else here that's a musician, okay? Think about like playing guitar. You didn't just start shredding it on the first day. Bum, 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 bum. You know, you start learning to play individual notes and chords. So be slow to be fast. If this is completely, these kind of applications are completely new to you, don't worry about going supersonic speed. Worry about being precise. In my opinion, a skill can be measured in a martial artist by their precision of their technique, okay? Not how fast they're doing it. In fact, a lot of people I see in the martial art world will cover up skill with speed. They just try to do it so fast so you can't see that they're messing up. Be slow, be precise, make the movements matter, all right? I'm going to give you guys just a minute here, all right? Think about everything we've done. Monkey pool peaches, all right? Split hands, pivoting punch, and double counter, all right? I'm going to shut up, let you guys practice this for a minute. If you need a drink of water, grab a drink of water, come back, keep working it, and please ask questions if you have questions. Remember guys, slow and steady wins the race. Do not worry about speed. Yeah. Sensei Ming, you know a lot of these. Do you have anything you would like to add to the class?
No, Shihan, not right now.
Oh, okay. we're going to keep working them up here. We're going to work them nice and slow so you can jump in and see before we move on to any more. Sir? So, punch. Wait, what was the first one? Totally forgot the first one. Oh, you got a piece. Good. There you go. Come ahead, come ahead. There you go. Punch. Okay, second one, split hand punch. I'm gonna do it now. Okay, that's fine, you can do that. Good. Punch. Ready, got this. That's all. Yeah, it's a good feeling one. Ready, got this. Pass off the hand. Punch. Pull the chamber. There's that one. Boom, nice. 1, 2, 3. Nice, good. All right, mate, guys. So you guys are looking pretty good with this. I would still encourage you, again, slow down a little bit. Don't worry about going super fast. And again, I really, really hope that this inspires you to look at some of your other kata and think beyond kind of like surface level. We're not even touching anything like your basic like low counter or middle counter or high counter. We can spend a whole class just on your lower counter, but we're not. But I would encourage you to explore what is there. Think about these movements, about when you're turning your hips, when one hand is going down and one hand is coming up. What is in between those motions that you could be doing, okay? On a side note, I was thinking this as I was doing it with Logan. Quite often when we're practicing our form, we'll kind of practice it rigid. But when you're really doing an application, you lose that, you should, in my opinion, lose the rigidness in favor of fluidity, okay? So you look at the punch that we did. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? 5. When I'm actually doing it with a partner, okay, I'm just trying to be fluid with my motions but keep my hips moving the whole time. So that's my personal take on that. Alright, so next we're going to work on, he hates this one but I love it, we're going to work a spear motion, okay? How many of you guys have this in your kata? Anything in your kata that does this? You can see raised hands? Alright, very good. We got a few people that do it, okay? So let's just take a second. And the bunkai really could be either leg stepping forward. For our purposes now, I'm going to step forward. The same hand that steps forward is going to cover down as I hit. And I'm actually going to add one more little piece onto that. So as we step forward, I want you to cover, cover, hit. And there's so many variations of this technique that you'll see out there in the world. Again, multiple interpretation. Sometimes you see this hand underneath. Sometimes you see this hand over top. For me, I have 2 different applications depending on my hand is on bottom or on top. But we're going to do hand on top for now, okay? So we're going to step out and cover, cover, spear, okay? Do it with me again. Step out and cover, cover, spear. All right, let's do it again. Move, shoo, shoo, shoo. Move, shoo, shoo, shoo. Move, shoo, shoo, shoo. Move, shoo, shoo, shoo. Good. One more time. Move, shoo, shoo, shoo. All right. Now, this spear motion, well, I'll go ahead and tell you. So often when I see the hand underneath, I think of this as usually like some sort of parry before I hit, sir. So a very surface level explanation of this punch is I parry the hand as I spear, say, into the neck. Now he's doing what he should be doing. He's parrying my hand out of the way. Uh-oh. Which makes me go to something else. Now, that's not bad by any means. If you've never been speared in the neck before, it's no fun. It hurts, and it can make you pass out when you're going to stomach 9 and 10, okay? However, when I'm on top, I have a little bit different explanation for it, okay, for my personal use, all right? We're actually going to start this not from a punch. Well, we could do this one from a punch. And I tell you what, we're going to do this one from a punch to sort of keep it consistent with what we were working with. So hands up. So my training partner, he's going to give me a 1, 2, 3. Okay? So give me a jab, a reverse, and a hook. All right? And I'm just going to come in and cover on this one. This is something you may do in sparring. I'm parrying, bam, and I come in. You got to remember, if I'm like this close and throw a punch super slow. Oh, paw! Right? I don't have time for that if he's going fast. Throw a hook. Ah! All right, call this my like, ah, response, okay? Or the, oh, poop response. Just get your hands up, okay? So I'm here. He's going to go straight. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. From this position, I am going to reach up and grab and then push down as I come in for a spear motion, okay? So, 1, 2, 3. Oh, man, there's that elbow again. Right after I elbow, I come down, and there's my, oh, I've got you way different this time. And I've got this spear motion. Now, let's come on over here, Logan. So it's really important to know the difference between, say, like a guillotine choke, which is this. This is a phenomenal choke. But this is way worse. This is more of a head crank, okay? Yeah. So you come on up. Everybody take your head and say, yes. That's pretty natural, right? Everybody take your head, go side to side. There's actually a name for this. I can't think of what it's called, like Night at the Roxbury. Okay? But if you turn your head and then try to push your head down, this is a rather uncomfortable motion. Your head is meant to do this, but it's not meant to do this. So as martial artists, we want to make it do that. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. Grab elbow. From here, I'm going to push the hand down as I come through and spear. Ah, we just did that. Push the head down as you come through and spear. I did my elbow. I push the head down. I'm going to go to his shoulder. This is why my hand is on top. If it's underneath, I don't really have a good connection here. Grab my hand, Logan. If he grabs my hand and pushes it down, it's pretty easy for him to get back out. But if I come over the top of my hand, grab my hand, Logan, it makes no difference. Now, doesn't that last motion end with me pushing my arms out? Guys, show me. How does that spear end? Show me how that spear motion ends. Okay, let's see how far I can extend my arms before Logan taps me. Oh, Logan, I didn't even get all the way out. Come on. I'm here, but you put your focus there. Okay? When you're doing kata, every motion, the motion is happening here. This is your follow-through. The motion is happening here. This is your follow-through. The motion is happening here. That is your follow-through, okay? A great example of that is punching. Does anybody do kata that does this? You don't step, low counter, punch. Low counter, punch. All right? It's like, we call that like T-Rex kata. No, we push all the way through. But where was your target? Was your target here? No, your target was here, and that's your follow-through. I did my application here. That's my follow-through. Okay? So, a way to do this, we'll still do it for the punch. Uke is going to go 1, 2, 3. Go. 1, 2, 3. Grab. Elbow. Underneath. Check it. All right? And from here, push. All right? Now, try facing me. 1, 2, 3. Cover, cover, spear. Ah. Now you have something that hopefully is a little bit more realistic, something you would actually, use. Oh, we left out the elbow. How dare I? All right. Parry, parry, cover. Ah, there's another elbow because we love elbows. All right, push that head down and then come through with your spear. Okay? I'm going to give you guys a moment. Visualize, visualize, visualize. Okay? Now, if all of this was a little bit too much, I'm going to give you the expedited version of it. Grab the head, push the head down, come underneath, and there's your same technique. Okay? You can very easily get to that. You can very easily get to that from like a grappling situation. If I need to soften them up, I'll do this. Parry and bring the hand in. Parry, parry, hit. That's kind of the expedited version of it. But take a moment, visualize, practice. Go! Shannon, slow it down. You're going so fast. I can't see you. Slow it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to visualize it, but since my sparring dummy. has been going pretty fast. I visualize it quickly.
So, slower is better when you're trying to learn something for the first time, right? And if you have a sparring partner or a uke that's going too fast, ask your uke to slow it down. And it's perfectly okay to say, and this is important about partner communication. If I have an uke that's just going like way too fast and I'm trying to learn something, I'll say, hey, uke, you know, I'm trying to learn. Can we just slow it down a little bit so I can get the technique down? So, one of the most important things that you can do in martial arts is be a good training partner. Be the kind of partner that everybody wants to train with. And this is for everybody to hear. Let's say Logan, for example. If Logan was like the kind of guy that just always went super hard, that wouldn't let me practice my techniques, that was just being a real jerky jerk while training, I don't want to train with Logan. Nobody else wants to train with Logan. Logan is just no fun to train with. Sorry, Logan. And when they say, hey, who needs a partner? Raise your hand. They're like, all right. So, and this is for everyone. Be the kind of person that everybody wants to train with. Be the kind of guy or gal that when somebody says, okay, raise your hand for training partners, everybody's coming to you because they love working with you, because you're such a good partner, because you help everybody get better. Think about what Master Quinn was saying earlier about raising everybody up. You can do that every day by being a good training partner, right? Be the person that people want to train with. Be the good uke. On that note, keep going. I'll take care. And if at any point during this session you need to sit down, take a breath, grab some water, you go right ahead. I'm going to give you guys a moment to practice these, and I'll run through them again. We have our monkey grab peaches. We have our split hands. We have our pivoting punch. We have our double counter. And we have our spear hand. All right, keep working those. If anybody has any questions, please ask. I'm happy to answer however I can. We're just going to do one more of these because I don't want to fill your head too much. It's been a long day with a lot of great instructors. All right, mate. So I'll give you a quick recap, and we're just going to do one more. So again, recap everything we've done so far. Parry, punch, monkey grab peaches, elbow, serve. Parry, punch, monkey grab peaches, elbow. All right. We have split hands. Parry, and you can just do a parry and punch, or parry, elbow destruction, grab, pull, split hands. With my partner, punch. All right. Then we have the pivoting punch. So we're going to step, parry, back fist. Pass the hand off, punch, and for fun, elbow. With a partner. Okay? And then we have your double counter, what you may call a double block. We step out to a what stance, Logan?
Diagonal.
Diagonal stance. 1, 2. And if you want to follow it up, you can. T punches. 1, 2. And we come across. All right, we have our spear hand, okay? Where we step 1, 2, spear. All right, I gave you 2 different ways you can practice this. Jab, reverse, hook. 1, 2, 3, hit. Pull it in. Or from a grappling situation, head up, head up. There you go. Boom, where I push the head down and we come through. Okay? Any questions about any of those before we do one more? I will take that as a no. All right, so last one we were going to do here. Oh, where did I have it written down there? Spear hand across, spear hand. Oh, fantastic. So how many of you guys have some sort of elbow that comes like this in your kata? Anyone have anything like this in kata? I see a few people doing it. Okay, excellent, excellent. Now remember what I said earlier about quite often in kata you'll see a hand that connects when you're doing an elbow technique. It may be this, it may be this. Well, every now and again you have something that may come across this way or even up. Okay, and one hand is pulling back to chamber. Now, think for a moment, based off what you've learned from the class so far, what do you think that could be? Explore in your mind for just a moment. What do you think that could be as you're pulling and doing that elbow motion? I'll give you a hint. Well, not necessarily a hint, but something to consider. What are your legs doing in the kata? Okay? So, like I said in Ruku Kempo, somebody say something?
They're always moving.
Yes, absolutely. Your legs are always moving, right? You don't spar like this. Get back here! No! You gotta move, right? So when we talk about a horse stance, in Ruku Kempo, a horse stance is a horse stance. Whether I'm doing it here, 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 wherever, it's a horse stance. For this particular move, and in a particular kata that I'm thinking of, Basai, we actually step back to a horse stance as we do it. Your body is a powerful tool. Your hips are a powerful tool. You utilize them, okay? Now we're going to couple up a technique, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to step forward, do, you call it double knife hand? Knife hand? Okay. Now, I've often seen knife hands done different ways. One way is here, another way is you here. I think the kids have a dabbing version as well. Based off...
On one.
What's that?
That's just grouping on one.
There you go, all right? And it's in numerous katas. In one of our Ruku Kempo's katas, we have the same motion that's actually followed up with various elbow strikes, okay? So what we're going to do from here is we're going to step forward, and we're going to double knife hand, and then we're going to step back in a horse stance and pull. Okay? I'm going to talk about why we're stepping back in a minute because it's important in our interpretation of the kata. Okay? So do that with me again. From here, step forward, double knife hand, step up and back. Alright? Do that with me a few more times. Move. Good. Move. Move. Alright. Now, what could this craziness be? Alright? So let's look at this. I remember the first time I got knocked to my knees with pressure points, and it was from this particular move. When I was doing Shuryu Karate, I remember an explanation that my instructor would give me. Logan, punch. What's that? Okay, punch. And I do remember thinking, why am I pulling my hands all the way up here to hit something? Okay? We just better make sure that we're back up. Now punch. Aha! Far enough apart that I can get that out. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong by any means. I'm saying that is an application, but I would question, why am I doing this with my hands? Okay? So, another explanation, very similar, he's going to punch. I'm going to cut across. If you took Sensei Perry's pressure points class earlier, you learned about various points on the arm, okay? Inside the arm here, we have what's called lung 5 and lung 6. Even if you don't hit the points, just hit the arm. And as we cut, remember I talked about wrist motions? It starts to stun the arm. It may not take the person out, but it gives a good stun sensation and sets up points later. So as he comes in, I hit, I grab, and I pull in, okay? Now, in kata, you'll generally see this two different ways. You may see hand on the stomach, or you may see hand pulled back to a chamber position. It doesn't matter, but one hand is definitely pulling while the other hand is pushing, often called two-way action. Logan, can you come here, please? So the punch comes in. You're punching. 1, 2, 3. All right. Taking my hand, Sensei Perry and Sensei Ming were talking about it earlier. I drop my hand, my knife hand down in the neck. I'm not going to do that on my son here. You shouldn't do that on kids, but you can do it to your adults. Bam, dropping this down. Now also, wrists, something that's very prevalent in what we do. When I hit, I don't just do this static motion. I drop my fist into it, which causes quite a great reaction when you hit stomach 9 and 10. Hey, so sneaky. Come back over here. So, punch. 1, 2. Now, if he is so, I'm just going to throw this out there. If he's so sneaky, he doesn't want to get hit, and he stops this, I could just do the other side. Wow, it's like we just did something. Punch. So, 1, 2, 1, 2. Same motion. Now, we're going to add this on top of it, okay? So, punch comes in. I hit. Maybe he does stop that, because he's like, no, I don't want to get hit by it anymore, Dad. I'm done with this, okay? Your body is a powerful tool. Use your body weight to your advantage. Now, the next part was stepping out to a horse stance as I come to here. I can either hit down on the bicep, which is pericardium 2, or go in near the crease of the arm, which is lung 5. Okay, give me resistance. If I pull, come on, you can resist, be strong. There we go. If I do this, man, kid, you're getting strong. If I just do this, I can move him if I push hard enough, okay? But instead, I want to use my body, okay? Resist. There we go. All right. So we utilize horse stance motions to drop and move our weight. Do you remember that motion? So yeah. So I had Logan help. He showed this at Japan Fest in front of a few hundred people. Don't use your legs, just use your arms. If he traps my arms, come over the top and just push down. Push down hard, Logan. Come on, Logan, push down hard. Yeah, he's not moving me, obviously not. However, if he utilizes his stance, okay, and drop back. Oh, there you go. Good. All right. When you use your body weight to drop into your stances, you intensify your application. So, Logan, come here, please. So what this looks like, our motion was step, and then step back to your horse stance. Important because we're stepping backwards. He punches. I hit. I grab. Woo! And then he flies. Now, alternatively, you may see something like this, where you don't step to a horse stance, but maybe you step to more of like a front stance facing the back angle. If we have any judo players in here, now you're doing something that's more like a tayatoshi, okay? Either way, use your weight to turn in conjunction with your hips to drop your opponent. Additionally, if you hit this at the same time, it makes it way worse. Actually, in Basai, we come forward, we elbow, and then we go to here. One of the applications I'd like to think of is I'm here, wham! I hit that arm right before I take him down to soften him up. I don't know if anyone's ever been like punched or hit hard right in the middle of your bicep. It's called pericardium 2. It will dead arm your arm quite quickly. All right?
Yeah.
Yes? Had a question?
No, I was just confirming it because I've had it done to me.
Oh, yeah, it's no fun. All right, guys, so let's practice this together. From here, we're going to step forward, shuto, grab, pull the chamber. Good. Use that visualization. Step forward, shuto, grab, boom, drop them down. And if you're on a hardwood floor, be easy with your training partners, because when you do this properly, bam, you move someone quite quickly. Also, it's important, keep your hips and your body and your arms in conjunction. Everybody look right here for a moment. I don't think anybody does a kata that looks like this. You don't leave something way up here and then turn, right? You turn it all together. This is learning to be mindful of your body, okay? Practice with me a few more times and then on your own. Step forward, shuto. Step and pull. Good. Step forward, shuto. Step and two pull. Good. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. Let's go through all these on your own. Monkey grab peaches, split hands, pivoting punch, your double counter, your parry and spear, okay? And of course your shuto and whatever the other technique's called. Mm-hmm. I know it's kind of a long day. If you guys are feeling a little bit tired, feel free to step off, take a drink of water. But I would encourage you to get back on. At the very least, work really slowly, just going through those motions. All right, mate. So, I know it's been a long class. I'm going to cut a little bit early for you guys because your brains are probably pretty full, especially if you've never seen this before. But give you a few minutes to kind of chill out, grab yourself some water for the next class. Real quickly, we're going to review everything we've just did. I'll open up for questions or conversations if anybody has any. We'll take it from there. So the first, we're just going to do the kata movement. So first one is monkey grab peaches. Step forward, grab, pull, and let's do an elbow for fun. Alright, second one was split hands. We're going to step to a cross stance and push down. Super important that you're pushing with your hips as you do it. Okay, next one was a pivoting punch. Start with a hand out, step off to the side. My hips are pushing this way as I punch to the side. Remember, that's checking somebody's hip. Next one was a double low counter. We're going to step out to our diagonal stance. 1, 2. Next one was your spear hand. Cover, cover, spear. And the last one we just did, step forward with your shuto motion, and then step across with your horse stance and an elbow. All right. Guys, I much appreciate you all being a part of my class today. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them here on Facebook. But more than anything, I hope you take today's class and it sparks interest to look at all your kata and see where is the grappling within this. Where's the striking with this? How can I use my grappling with the striking? Great example was like the pull in the elbow. I'm pulling the arm back as I grab their head and do the elbow. So many other examples in there. Create your kata. It's yours, okay? Thank you very much, guys.